Welcome to Apex Learning. This short video is the student view of Apex Learning for courses. I'm going to walk through the basic features and functionality, how a student uses Apex. First, everybody will log in at www.apexvs.com. You'll be assigned a username and a password. And sign in. Initially, you'll have a temporary password and you'll be prompted to create a permanent password. Once you log into the system, you'll be looking at your dashboard. We're focusing on courses, and you'll see the list of assigned courses to you. We're going to look today at Algebra 1, Semester 1. You can click on the course name to see that and who also is the teacher of the course name. There's a couple of things that we want to talk about before we actually launch the content to see what the course involves. First, if your teacher sets a due date or pacing guide, you'll see that any number of overdue activities if you're behind in the pacing guide. If you're not behind in the pacing guide, that overdue activities field will be blank. This progress bar will continue to fill up as you proceed through the course. You'll see on this example, I'm very behind schedule because this is a course that I created quite some time ago. Grade to date is another representation of your progress. One of the important things to see here is that when you click on the grade to date, it will open up what we call a course activity scores report. You can think of this like a traditional grade book. If your teacher has set due dates, they'll be populated here. These are the different activities that the teacher is expecting you to complete. And then your scores will be populated as you go through the work. So you'll want to continually or regularly look at this to see what activities are up next and when the teacher expects that you'll have those completed. The next thing that I want to do is actually launch into the course. So I'm going to click on the course name, Algebra 1, Semester 1, and this will actually launch the course. Apex courses are set up with units. Each unit has a number of lessons, and each lesson has a number of different activities and different types of activities. We're going to walk through Unit 1 of Algebra 1. I can either click on the circle to start it or on the picture. Every unit will start with an overview, which is a summary of the objectives for that unit. If you have access to a pretest, you'll take a unit level pretest. Not all Apex courses have the pretest, but if you see this, you'll want to take the pretest and do your best because it may possibly exempt you from some of the content. From Unit 1, the overview, we'll look at Lesson 1. Once again, just like at the unit level, at the lesson level, we have an overview. What are the objectives for the lesson? We have different types of activities, and we'll talk through some of these after we look at study. Study is the on-screen instruction, and as I tell your teachers, this is where we want the students to live. Click here. This particular one is 17 pages, and when you're ready, you go ahead and start that study. There's a couple of things that I want to point out. We have a number of different support tools that are built into the Apex courses. One is a study guide. When I click on this, it will launch a printable document that is used for guided note-taking. I caution people that it's not a practice test. However, if you take good notes, you'll be prepared for the quizzes and the assessments that follow. This is a good time too to point out a couple of icons in the upper right-hand corner. We have a text-to-speech opt-in so that the student can have the material read to them. Similarly, I've got a translation tool so that if you need some assistance with LaPex in another language, we have 30 different languages that we can translate the Apex content to. So those icons, text-to-speech and translation tool, are available on every page of Apex. As you go through and navigate, you'll just continue to read the content, click Next. On most pages, there is an opportunity for you to engage in the content in some way. We've got in bold, we have key terms so that you can get assistance with vocabulary. We have different types of videos, matching problems, true, false, work through problems, all types of different ways that students can interact with the content. So without going very many pages further, I just want you to get a sense of what it is that we're looking at, how we navigate. So you'll go through all of the study. There's other activities. This checkup is some more practice problems. There's a quiz. At the high school level, most of our quizzes are 10 questions. At the middle school level, most of our quizzes are 5 questions. We do have an item bank, and we randomize both the questions and the answer choices. So when I'm ready to take the quiz, I go ahead and click on that. You'll see I've already done this one. So we're going to go to now lesson 2. Again, I've got an overview, study, which is the on-screen instruction. This is math, so there are checkup or practice problems. I've completed quiz number 3. I'm sorry, 1.2.3. In this one, there's also a journal activity, a writing activity associated with algebraic properties and expressions. As a student, I finish lesson 2. I go to lesson 3, and you'll see here I've not done any of the work. Again, my overview, study, checkup. This time I'm going to launch the quiz. The first page is the instructions, and when I'm ready to go, I click Start, and I'll navigate through, and you'll see here that there's 10 different questions. I select the right answer and submit, move on to the next question. When I complete the quiz, I will get feedback on how I scored. Moving on from the quiz, I'm just going to skip through here. Just so that you can see that the score that gets presented and the way that it looks when the quiz is completed. And here's your feedback. As I went through that quiz, I got 20%. Then I would continue, go to the next activity, and we've got practice, which is like graded homework. So that, in this particular case, Unit 1, we've gone through lesson 1, 2, and 3. Now we're at lesson 4. Lesson 4 is the end of Unit 1. So again, I have the overview. I'm going to review the material from Unit 1. I've got a discussion board that your teacher may or may not require you to do. CST stands for Computer Scored Test. TST stands for Teacher Scored Test. Once I complete the assessment, I would move on to Unit 2. All of our Apex courses are structured that same way, the unit, lesson, activity structure. Not all of the activities are identical. They all have study, and they will all have some assessments. Again, I want to point out the activity scores report. When I first showed it to you, we showed a 20 and a 14. In that quiz number 3 that we looked at, we scored 20%, 4 out of 20 4 points. There are some assignments that are teacher-scored activities, like the practice problems, like the journal. If you're going to contact the teacher, whether to ask a question or to submit an assignment, you'll go to Messages. You'll click on the plus sign for Messages. You'll identify your teacher name from the pull-down menu. You can enter the subject of the classroom that you have, and you can enter a message to your teacher. You also, if you are submitting assignments, when you click Submit Homework, you're going to select the course. You're going to select the activity that you completed, and you're going to attach a file wherever you've created that on your computer. And then you send it like you would an email to your teacher. They'll get notification that you've submitted the assignment and that they will be able to grade it. Once they grade the assignment, then it will show up again inside of your activity scores report. That's the basic features and functionality of the student dashboard and the content. One of the things that I want to point you to is the Help menu. On this Help tab, you've got a lot of support from Apex, and perhaps one of the most important is this Getting Started tab. When I click on the Getting Started tab, we will launch our Help tab, and then we're going to see a Student Getting Started guide. You'll see here that you can take a course that's approximately 6 minutes long, and that will be a review and reference for all of the material that we've covered now. Good luck with Apex. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher, and we will work with the teachers to make sure that this is a successful experience for you.